Great. Yeah, so I'm going to expand a little bit on what Andrew's been talking about in terms of the CRM. So we've been thinking about this for a little while. I think over the years, as starting as a smaller company and getting larger, more staff and so on, we developed a lot of silos of information in different places. And I think it becomes particularly apparent when you have a lot of recruitment, as we have done, as Andrew's illustrated, when you're doing your onboarding with new people and saying, okay, so we've got servers in this Google Doc, and then we've got a spreadsheet for the customers. We use a different software for our help desk system, and then we're using something else for our sales approach. We decided to bite the bullet and implement a CRM system, and we began this process at the beginning of this year. We did an assessment of different systems at the end of last year. I was heading up on the CRM project, and I think what we left and right, okay, up and down. Okay, right. Aha. Cool, got it. Right, cool. So what we were really looking for was a single platform, basically, to manage all of the elements as much as we can. And we're working through the implementation of the various of these areas, so sales, marketing, help desk, and projects to come. We've managed to migrate our companies and contacts into the new system. So that's organizations and our contacts at the various organizations. And that also includes and expands out to prospective customers and third-party contracts. So you can sort of see that with everybody all in one place, it means that when we're having a project and we have customers, they come on from a prospect, it's all in the same place, they move on ultimately to the help desk system, it's all in one place. So we're looking at and sort of streamlining our workflows with the new system. Sales and account management are using the new system, which is called, OpenCRM. So this is the company that we chose out of several that we looked at. So sales and account management are using opportunities to manage the pipeline, then quotes to generate quotes against those opportunities, invoices, as I understand it, is coming soon. And we're also sales are investigating using the system to work on campaigns and events. And in fact, some of the mailings that you will have had out from this for this event today will have been done by the new system. So that's increasingly where we want to have a single platform for communications, emails out. And we're going to be working on introducing asset management and ultimately projects as well. So for assets, that would be having everybody's server information about servers, test servers, types of server platforms, and also customizations, any additions. Do you use BDS? Do you use export to various systems all in one place? And that will be in part of the asset management. So again, it's that old cliche, the one-stop shop, but that's the ultimate goal that we're looking towards. And my colleague Lucy, head of projects, is working with her teams to roll out using the system for project implementations as well. At the moment, we use Asana, so we'll be migrating away from that and handling project sequences of events and so on, agendas through the new CRM. I think in terms of, this is just a quick reminder, things that have remained the same with Helpdesk, because ultimately this is a session about Helpdesk, specifically in customer service to use. We still have our support email address for you to contact us and log tickets. There is a new portal URL, so it's different to the old one, and do get in touch if you need a portal account. When I show you some stats in a few minutes, there's an interesting stat related to portal accounts on that. What we have introduced alongside the phone, of course, is a new web form, and that again I'll be showing you shortly on the customer services web pages, where that is linked from. So we've introduced a new web form that sits outside of the portal, outside of email, but will log a ticket with us that we will ultimately respond to. And when I was sending out my initial communications before, I said we can get tickets out of our old help desk system. We didn't migrate them across to the new platform. but we can extract spreadsheets for you. So if you haven't had that and would like that, do let me know, and I can arrange that for you. So I think it's probably worth saying that whilst we're looking towards new single platforms and new systems as well, we did have our frustrations with our old help desk system. So not only were we seeing the opportunity to have improvements in other areas to do with service, but also we were quite glad to use it as an opportunity to move away and make some decisions about how we wanted to open up the system. I mean, for example, we were down the route with the old system of you had to have a login or an account on the help desk system in order to log tickets. And that meant that we were constantly handling bounce tickets, which were often valid tickets from people logging issues with us from different email addresses. And that was very time consuming for us. And also a concern for us that we were missing important tickets that needed to be handled. So we saw this as an opportunity to open up the system and allow and not be restricted to having to have an email. And of course, for libraries where you've got maybe part-time staff or staff who maybe sometimes don't necessarily need a general login to the portal, they might still need to log an issue with us. So that was going to be addressing that particular problem. In the old system, we were unable to handle relationships between organisations, thinking in particular the sort of hierarchies that we might get with the NHS, for example. And this system gives us an opportunity to manage that and see clearly how organisations relate to each other. We couldn't delete tickets, not that we want to delete the tickets, of course, but in certain circumstances, there was the need to delete tickets and merge them. And ultimately, we were constantly duplicating tasks, creating separate customer records on the new system when a customer had gone live with Koha or Aspen or whatever. And that lack of integration was something we were increasingly seeing quite a flaw with our workflows. And of course, also, we had a difficulty in producing detailed service level agreement reports for resolution and response times. And the old system, I've jumped through a lot of hoops trying to get statistics out to reflect how we were doing in terms of managing tickets in a timely fashion. So we definitely were coming from a point that we can improve different elements of the help desk system. And ultimately, I suppose, move towards a greater transparency between us and yourselves. So as part of implementing the new help desk, we made some changes as well related to service levels. We've now got greater open times for the help desk between 8 and 6. So you will potentially you'll get responses from 8 o'clock in terms of tickets logged and up to 6. And we have worked on our response times and resolution times, and as I'll demonstrate shortly, and we were able to tie these into the new CRM. As if you are logging into the portal, you'll actually get that level of transparency because you will see in the status column when a ticket moves to the, as described, hot to an overdue ticket based on resolution. So it's much clearer for yourselves where potentially we might be needing to address issues, but also it's been very clear for us as people who work on the support desk, able to monitor those metrics, those missing tickets where we need areas. And also we get alerts as well where a ticket has had an email back where it needs action. So there's a greater degree of communication that we're finding with the new system that we're able to respond to. And in addition, it's now easier for us to measure our performance against the SLA. So I suppose you're asking, what is our SLA and how does it reflect how we handle tickets? It's quite a lot of stuff on that slide, and I think we will be sharing these out as well. But we're working in terms of severity levels from P1, as in critical, that's entire services down and inaccessible, through to a P2 major, a P3 moderate, and a P4 minor. And each of those severity levels has its corresponding response and resolution time. And you can see the responses and resolution times listed there. They become, I suppose, going from P4 upwards, increasingly more severe as the issue becomes more severe. I've put some examples in the fourth column there to give an idea of how we measure those severity levels and how tickets are allocated. So as you can see, an entire system down and inaccessible for a critical, ranging down to a P4 minor, where it's something cosmetic appearance or an additional report that isn't mission critical or business critical, advice on workflow issues, that sort of thing. And then scaling up, P3 moderate is maybe a limited number of issues. Certain things aren't editable, certain users can't log in, ranging to a P2 minor, where you've got much more severe but not critical downtime. So for example, in a P2 major, big records you can't edit, maybe you can't log in and nobody can log in, whole modules unusable. So there's a sort of scale of severity there. And with regard to the response time, well, particularly the resolution times, as you can see there, we endeavour to resolve within the columns described in column 3 there. And those resolution times significantly are actually embedded into the CRM and into our help desk system. So and that's why when you're on the portal, if you see a ticket that says overdue, it's hit its resolution time, it needs addressing. We do miss, we can miss resolution times, but often there may be mitigating circumstances or whatever, so we have to put measures in place. But it means that there's a greater transparency, and also from our point of view, we've got a greater recording capability of being able to report on issues as they arise and be able to hopefully put in structures to address these and become better ultimately, and to provide a better service. Well, since the since the system went live, the help desk went live, since we migrated the customers across and actually began using the help desk, that was mid-July. We've been responding as well to feedback that we've had from yourselves about issues that have come out on the portal. Within quite a short length of time, we found that there was a very limited portal timeout that was increased to 90 minutes. And then following on from that, we've also had the company make an adjustment to include a remember me tick box. So look out for that when you're logging into the portal. If you tick that, it will override any timeout on the system. Bear in mind though that actually, if you do walk away and leave the system, it will leave it open for you, but just it does mean that if you log into the portal at the beginning of the day, you'll be able to keep going back to it. You can set priorities for a ticket. So they're not the same thing as the severity levels in terms of P1s to P4s, but what it does mean is that you can set a ticket that you think is an important, it might be a report that you've got to get out by the end of the day, so it's important to you. It's not necessarily a P1 or a P2, but it's important to you, and we will look at those priority standards and adjust our priority levels based on that. There is a priority called urgent system down. So you absolutely set that if it's a system down. Sometimes people phone and that's absolutely fine. everybody in the company gets an email when we've got an urgent system down. So if it's system down, absolutely fine, go for it. But just to bear in mind, we all do get a notification, so it's actually really good. But obviously, when Stephen is usually knows these things anyway from the alerting system, but when there is a system down, but we also get notified if a ticket is logged with that priority level. We had to address a problem with, based on resolution, actually, based on the way that the system was handling the different closure levels and the way that it was calculating open time. It resulted in tickets that were saying a waiting customer were in the closed section on your portal. And that was a real awkwardness for some considerable time, but that's now resolved. So any ticket that's logged as marked with the status of a waiting customer will be in your open list, as it should be, along with tickets marked with something a status such as scheduled, or anything where it's still open but not necessarily accruing open time because there is some sort of deferment for whatever reason. It might be with development, for example. We increased the uploading file attachment level. That also needed handling, a few jumping through hoops to get that adjusted. And I've been doing some improvements, hopefully improvements based on the confirmation messages you get. Either when you log a new ticket, you should get a new email confirmation that now includes the ticket's description. And in our comment correspondence, we also include the ticket description, and there's a link directly to the portal to that specific ticket as well in that email. So just really to try and make things a little more end-to-end. Oh, absolutely fine. So I thought some statistics might be fun. I mentioned that the reporting capability in the new system is really good, and we haven't really, we're only scratching the surface right now, but there's some really nice graphics that we can produce. When Andrew pulled out a nice picture of where it was, Portland, I can't remember, somewhere nice, Montreal. I thought, no, I haven't got any pictures, but I have got a picture. I've got some pie charts. So there we go, I've got some pie charts. And I don't think there's any particular surprises here in the type of chart. You can see we've got Koha here, 81%. But interestingly, since we went live, we had 850 new tickets logged. That was since July. I mentioned at the beginning that obviously get in touch if you need a portal login, if you're having problems logging in. 43 of those 815 were actually related to, I can't get into the portal because I haven't got a login or whatever. So, and they're marked as general in the chart here. Out of those 750, actually this was up till Wednesday last week, so there might be a little bit of a shift, but there were 73 open at Wednesday last week, so the majority of those are closed. But we've been able to think about our categorization of tickets more. We always used to allocate a system type when new tickets came in, such as Koha, DSpace, ViewFind, whatever, which we have continued to do, as you can see here. But we were very keen to begin to be able to produce some more granular metrics and actually be able to see a little bit more about tickets and what component parts, what types of the system they were relating to. So this is for Koha. So if I just go back to here, so all of this purple section here, within that purple section of Koha tickets, we subdivide in terms of components. So we apply some metadata when a ticket comes in. We assess it. Is it cataloging? Is it acquisitions? Is it SIP2? Is it to do with the OPAC or patrons and so on? So these are the broad ones here, and we've got some quite narrow elements drilling down into some of the particular areas that come up. So we've got a section for for file uploads. We've got a section for people feeds, for example. All of the particular areas where we potentially have problems, we've tried to drill down into the component parts of the system. Really with the reasoning behind it, that we get a greater overview then of any trends that might be occurring, any key areas that any key ticket types that keep coming up. I haven't done any really detailed analysis looking month on month, but I intend to do that sort of analysis as we go forward a bit. But ultimately, I see it as a real goal for us to be able to use that sort of tracking to be able to identify, for example, areas within the team, as in us on the support desk at PTFS Europe, whether we've got any particular training requirements that we can address, whether there are any particular pinch points, whether there's any trends in terms of issues that are coming up that could be upgrade related and so on. And the more granular we can be in terms of sort of getting that sort of detailed overview of support tickets, the better in my opinion. I mean, you can see here we've got 73. We've got the 7.3 of SIP, for example, and you know, all of these elements are stresses on different areas within the company. You know, to authentication, that sort of thing would fall on Stephen's team. Other areas, you know, there might be we might be able to invest in training within the team for different areas of that. So it's going to prove really valuable, I think, in that instance. And another angle to it, I suppose, as well, is that based on this, at the moment, this is sort of anonymized in terms of customer, but ultimately we can see the trends within different organizations, what types of ticket might be coming up, and that gives us maybe an opportunity to reach out and either look at providing training courses or whatever, or offer other types of advice. So it's quite a useful tool, I think, and it's got a lot of potential for us. So we've been doing a lot on the website. I know there's different things, a lot on the portal. There's different improvements that we can still make, and we're very aware that we can sort of keep piling into improvements in the system. And we do appreciate your feedback. So if you do please get in touch if you've got any feedback about the system. So the other things that I wanted to cover, again, in terms of customer support, was the website. Customer services teams have been, members of customer services teams have been looking considerably at the website pages for support. That's just a picture of the homepage, but I'm going to try and use this link and go out rather than use the slides. There are a couple of slides for this in the, did that work? Yes, it did. Did it? Yes. So there are a couple of slides that relate to this in the presentation, but we'll just have a look at it on live here. So on our PTFS Europe site, we've got a link there to support. And what we've been trying to do is work on that support area and provide more resources for yourselves. Under the support area, support heading there, we've got a submit support ticket. That's what I meant by there's another form or another way for you to get in touch with us. So it's a nice simple form somewhere in there. There's a submit ticket form. So there it is. So you can submit a ticket from there. If I just go back up to the support area, this is what my colleagues have been working on. So if I just scroll down to here, we've been working on tiled articles on different subject areas. So the goal is to really work on our sort of the type of frequently asked questions, type of information to provide for yourselves. So we've got 6 tiles at the moment based on COA reports, COA cataloging, Aspen look and feel, COA acquisitions, COA circulation, and we've also got a tile for COA upgrades. And this is really a focused support area. If I just go through into the COA upgrades one, Some of you who've gone through the upgrade process will know that we've commonly sent out sort of pages of sort of notes about what's going to happen in the upgrade and so on, and who's going to get in touch. Well, we've tried to incorporate that into the upgrade information area. So we've got little blocks that allow you to see what the processes are, when will it take place, how long will it take, what support will be available, what preparation is required. So more visually pleasing, I suppose, as well. But that's something that the team's been working on. If I go back again now to, say, let's pick the cataloging one. And we've been working on, and we're going to continue to pile resource into this. It's quite small, really. But really picking out links to some of our what's on our minds. Andrew mentioned it previously that we do produce regular recordings. They can be based on all sorts of areas, but we're linking to those what's on our minds here from this page with relation to cataloging. So you can see we've got what's on our mind there for what's new in different versions. We've got links out to the core manual for different areas of support. We've even got slides that we've prepared for various sessions we've run before, working with analytic records, for example, horror of horrors. But this is all sort of geared towards trying to increase the offering that we can present in terms of added value and frequently asked questions as well. So this is the start of a much wider work in progress. And we're also hoping that we'll be able to use some of those component parts, those elements of that we're now harvesting in the Helpdesk tickets as a way of populating these headings as well. So where there's frequently asked questions that keep recurring, we can then use those to add into these tiles that we're going to be creating extensively over the next few months and adding to. So I think, so yeah, in my slides that I just pulled out a few topic-based article tiles and focus support pages. So overall, we really appreciate your feedback, obviously, and we'll, if you've got any questions, that's really my update on Helpdesk.